tell them I said it. Level up. God level. You can tell them I said it. Level up. Level up. Level up. Go. Everything that means everything. Eyes connected to everything. And that's why. I'm in everything. All eyes on me. All eyes on everything. That means everything. Eyes connected to everything.
And that's why. What's going on, everybody, on this wonderful Tuesday night, afternoon, evening, for wherever you are in the world? This is Things That People Don't Want to Talk About, brought to you by God Level. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. And we got a couple people who are tuning in already. Yes, It's going to be a good night. Hey, how's everybody's week out there doing? How y'all doing out there?
Already?
You ready?
Yeah, already?
Yes, sir. I'm like, let's get it cracking. I'm your girl, Inattentive Ivy, hailing from the wonderful PNW right now. Hi, everybody. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Bro Green. See you over there in the comments doing your thing. Today, we are talking about, what else do we talk about? Things that people don't want to talk about. We're waiting for our wonderful host, Renee God Level, who will be on us with us on the mic here very soon. And in the meantime, we're just going to introduce ourselves. Once again, I'm Inattentive Ivy. You can find me on TikTok. I talk about ADHD, mental health, hailing from the wonderful PNW. I'm owner of all 87 of the hamsters. I got 87 of them now. Yeah, we done bumped up. I love to talk about things neurospicy, mental health. Yeah, and as always, I'm going to keep it a buck. Hey, Mr. Skywalker, you want to introduce yourself?
John Skywalker, the Sly Talker here, lyricist, spoken word artist, martial artist, personal trainer, lover of life, student of psychology, and I'm a father who is taking clients now. If you're trying to get that confidence back, if you're trying to get that body right, even if you just need some, a little bit of guidance, you need an accountability partner, hire a coach, yo. I try to make this very simple. Okay, I try to make it functional, simple for you. I do tailored workouts, tailored plans, very structured. And I live in Norman Park, but we can do this virtually. So if you're interested, if you're trying to level yourself up or at least get reintroduced into fitness, I be him, John Skywalker. You can message me at master.johnskywalker on Instagram. I also have 5 hip-hop albums streaming on all major streaming platforms. Just look for John Skywalker. John Skywalker.
And you gonna
John Skywalker. If you look for that name, you're gonna see some albums. And you're gonna hear some real hip hop. Salute.
Yes, and he be doing his thing too. If you haven't caught him on Instagram or on TikTok, him and his lovely wife and his lovely family doing all the workout videos, man, it's a vibe, yo. So catch Mr. John Skywalker out there into interwebs doing his thing. Also, conscious hip hop, man. We're listening to some of it right now. If you dig this beat, if it feels, if it makes a little shimmy in your soul, go check him out, man. 5 hip hop albums. Mr. King Newborn, please introduce yourself. Rep yourself, sir.
Peace. This is King Newborn. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Newborn Everything. And always I say I am that I am. More importantly, I'm for the community, family, and friends. Peace, love, and light. Let's get it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you so very much, gentlemen, for representing yourself and coming on here. And tonight, woo, this one right here, boy. I mean, we always have some pretty, like topics, right? But this one right here, man, this brought up some feels, yo. What do we mean by outgrowing friends? Oh man, outgrowing friends, friendship, relationships. I'm going to say off the break, I know for me, when I learned in family therapy, people say you can either be right or be in a relationship. So sometimes bringing that whole entire thing. Yes. Right, you can either fight to be right or fight to be in a relationship. So sometimes that applies to your friendships too. So let's go ahead and get this started, man. Let's talk about it. What do we mean by outgrowing friends? What you got to say, brothers? We ask questions.
Yeah, go ahead and kick it off, King.
Look, because he over there rubbing his beard and everything. He got something to say. Peace.
I'm student right now.
Okay. He's like,
I'm
yo,
stupid for a
can y'all?
second. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
need a little bit of inspiration. I need y'all to inspire me. Okay. Well, I know that a lot of us don't like the term. I've seen it in the comments. I think there's a struggle with it because there's an insinuation with outgrowing, right? And that's probably because somewhere in there, there suggests or there's an implication of superiority versus inferiority or maturity versus immaturity. So there's that dynamic. It's not there. Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Mm, yeah. We can hear you. Keep going.
Oh, okay. So there's this implication here, and it's kind of undue, but we kind of know why, because a lot of the times when we're relating with other people, sometimes they're toxic relationships, and in toxic relationships there tends to be this sense of competition. And so if you decide to outgrow this individual, it implies that you're making a decision, or you're being the bigger person by stepping away from a relationship that no longer serves you. And so we say things like, well, it's all about me. I'm protecting my peace. I'm doing me. And it suggests that we are kind of downplaying, or the other person was invaluable. So there's all these suggestions, all these presumptions, not necessarily true, right? But this is a natural process. Friendships evolve, they change, they go through things, right? But I sense distancing, I sense shifting, um, and this could be motivated by new interests. It could be development of ideologies, different life paths, career changes, personal growth, changes in family dynamics, changes in scheduling, changes in responsibility. It doesn't necessarily mean that one is better than the other, but it does signify that there's a divergence. We were supposed to be growing together, and so now we're growing apart. But I think a lot of people in the comments had a problem with the whole notion of outgrowing, because it kind of signifies that superiority. So that's my first shot.
I like that. I can dig it. Yeah.
Hmm?
I mean, I dig it because let's go ahead and keep it a buck, man. Where growth in relationships can sometimes be on a difficult parallel is when two people are two people are going in different directions and they don't understand how to come to an agreement. Um,
Mm.
and my sponsor taught me that everything in relationships, any relationships with the kids, relationships with your parents, relationship with your friends, your spouse, your partner, whichever one, it's all about let's see if we can make agreements, small agreements that respect each other, right? And sometimes where it's not necessarily I'm outgrowing my friend, it's you have a friend who can't understand that there's an agreement because maybe they're unwilling to speak about that agreement. It's just I have to honor this in myself and not really realizing where there can be another agreement as a part of that. Does that make any sense? Because man, I've
Okay.
realized that two things can be true. You know,
Yes.
I can love somebody and still realize that where they are at right now is not necessarily the best depending on my mind. I can also love somebody and realize that maybe there's just a path that they need to go down, and so that's the reason why they are out of my life at this point in time. Maybe that means that I can I cannot love this person when I first meet them, but then later on I come to appreciate them and know them and love them at another point in time. You know what I'm saying? A lot of different things can be true. And I have realized for me and myself that unless of any relationship, friendship or otherwise, will outgrow its purpose if you do not understand how to be in conflict with each other and be
Mm.
able to get past that. Because conflict, some people run from conflict. I was one of them for the longest time.
Mm.
And then I had to learn that conflict is an opportunity to
Yeah.
invest in and to deepen the relationship. So
Oof.
so don't run away from it, because that way it can increase the vulnerability and the intimacy in those friendships. And you got to be intimate with your friends too. You got to be vulnerable with your friends. Hey,
Hey, Mo.
boo. Hey, there she goes. Look, since I didn't talk myself into a hoe, you know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't. No, no. Go ahead. I'm listening. I'll just chime in.
No, we just want you to introduce yourself, girl. Come on in
Oh,
here
this
and
is God
introduce
Level,
yourself.
originally from St. Louis, Missouri. How y'all doing? I am a nurse. I'm a mother. I'm an auntie. I'm a GG. I'm a sister. I'm a friend. I have this podcast. I'm an entrepreneur. I am everything good. Go ahead.
Yes, you are. No, that was pretty much all I was saying. I mean, there's a point that I was just saying that there's a point where you outgrowing your friends kind of means that, I mean, what is it that you're really outgrowing? Are you outgrowing the place where you are currently, emotionally, financially, socially, spiritually? You know what I'm saying? Is it just a place where you guys can't make agreements? Because in all relationships, I have my family therapist always said you can either fight to be right in a relationship, or you can fight for the relationship. So the thing is that conflict is meant to push you forward, and conflict doesn't necessarily mean that you're dishonoring yourself and that we can't be friends anymore. I'm gonna shut up from this point in time, because y'all know I
No,
talk
because
about.
I've been asking people at work, including my administrator, what does it mean when you outgrow someone? It's just like you're just moving into two different directions. That's basically what it is. Or you may come to a point where what y'all used to do together is no longer aligning with who you're trying to be or who you're becoming. And guess what? That is okay. It's not a lot of people from my past that I hang out with. I was always the oldest one, not the oldest one, the youngest one out of the bunch. So I was surrounded by a lot of older people. And here it is, I'm in my, late teens, early 20s, and I'm surrounded by people that are, in their 30s. We don't still kick it. We don't still hang. We don't talk because my life took a different direction than the one that they was at. And I remember a friend of mine, and I'm going to have to call her a friend because it took a friend to tell me this. She set me down when I was 18 and 19, and she looked at my face and she told me, okay, am I good to go? Can you still hear me? Okay. She told me, she said, you don't belong here. You do not belong here. Ooh. I was running with a crowd that we drank every day. We was young, kicking it. This was before I had children. But she looked me dead in my face and she was like, you don't belong here. This is not you. This is not for you. And everybody was sharing and caring, getting drunk, getting high. And she looked. So yeah, and baby, a year later, I ended up leaving. And I don't think I've ever talked to her again. But I thank her for that, for putting that bug in my ear, inspiring me to do something different. And that's when I met my husband. And after that, I was with him for 13, almost 14 years. So you do outgrow. I ain't gonna even outgrow. Maybe that's too hard of a word, but you do separate and move away. It happens. Now, had I stayed there, continuing or to try to do what they were doing, I don't think I would be here right now.
It's funny that we say outgrow, but I think that maybe some other things that people don't want to talk about is not when you outgrow, but when you have to end a friendship. And I think that maybe that was something that, like, okay, so just in case if you're watching, we have our group on Facebook, things that people don't want to talk about. We asked a couple of questions just talking about, like friends, outgrowing friends, and then sometimes ending friendships. Maybe because of that outgrowth. I mean, there have been times where it's not necessarily, yes, Janae, she said it, man, you evolve. And sometimes, when you evolve, you realize that, you know, it's not necessarily that you can be in that space with them anymore. Like you just said,
Yeah.
God level, you were talking about how, you know, you used to run with this crew and you used to, you know,
Yes.
kick it and drink and party and all that kind of stuff.
Man,
Sometimes, let's talk about trauma bonds and how sometimes friendships can meet you where your trauma bonds are. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you're meeting a person and you're a friend with them and you guys are relating off of this trauma, this shared trauma that you have, and then at some point you're like, nope, I gotta heal. Right? Let's talk about not necessarily outgrowing, but just maybe just like healing out of that trauma bond because of the fact that you can't stay there anymore. And that's an outgrow. Or maybe you have to end that relationship because you can't be in that toxicity that you were in with that friend. Go ahead, King Newborn, because you done picked up the mic. You start throwing that joint around and everything. I'm just gonna
I remember it feeling like I was on a train going nowhere. It's like you're going nowhere. And keep in mind, they're older than me. So I'm like, is this what it's going to be for me in 10 years? You know, no disrespect to anyone that I grew up with, but is that going to be me? I was just like, no. Go ahead, King Newborn.
I just want to say, hey sis, how you doing?
Hi, baby.
Peace, God level. Yeah. That's what's up. That's what's up.
I love you. I love you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
All right. Peace to everybody that has joined in on the chat. Shout out to Brother Green. Peace, love, and light, family. I want to point out something. So, for me, okay, anybody that's listening to this, you hear my voice. I'm saying my perspective, things that I understand and experience. To outgrow a friendship, in some cases, you could outgrow yourself.
Woo!
And I say that to say, we have a hard time separating the now of us and the future of us and the past of us.
Yeah.
So, in the event that any one of those are taking place, sometimes you have to be in remembrance of where you came, or where you are, where you come from, or where you're going.
Yeah.
So just to automatically write off a friend, I didn't outgrow you. I'm just growing at the pace I'm supposed to be growing in. Nothing more, nothing less. That's all. There was a time that, you know, we had some brothers, or the community, the black community, would say that hey, I'm at a disadvantage in this race and I could never catch up to the white man.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we were saying that we also have millionaires along with the white man. Now, I'm not saying it to be racist or to reach racism. I'm saying that we all have our own personal race. We all got our own timeline, and we're going to arrive where we're supposed to arrive in that time, period. So if it's you that acknowledge the fact that you may have outgrown said person, but said person hasn't done anything personally to cause hurt, harm, damage, or stunt your growth, as they always say, if you make it out the hood, take time out to reach back into the hood to inspire somebody else to do the same thing that you did, so you can evolve, you can grow. It's about the community. I'm just pointing that out. It's about the community. And if we don't work together, we don't show love, we don't show peace, we don't show understanding. Understanding is very important. If you don't take time out to understand maybe where your friend is where you was, but you came here, you go, hey, yo, hey, check this out. But it's okay for them to be where they are. Because a changed mind only shows a changed mind when it's ready to show a changed mind. I can't force nothing on nobody else. Can't nobody else force nothing on me. So when they decide to change their mind, they want different. Hey, I'm here to warmly embrace that. Because if you have grace for them, well, I'm sorry. If you have grace for yourself, you should take the time out to have grace for them.
Yeah.
Allow them to evolve in their timely manner. Because when they arrive, that's when they arrive. Just because you ain't rich today don't mean you won't be rich tomorrow. So whenever you get there, you get there. Just as long as you arrive, that's the matter. That's all that matters. Just as long as you arrive. And when you arrive, guess what? Hey, we finna do the party all over again on this level. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Peace.
so let's just say we have so let's just say that we are going in our own pace, right? We are going at our own pace and we are evolving at the same speed where we feel that we should be evolving, right? And we try to reach back. And like you said, people are going to do what they want to do at their own point in time, right?
I did.
Right?
I did.
But let's just say that while you are doing that evolving, and when you want to try to reach back, but if you reach back, you realize that hand is getting bitten. You understand what I'm saying? Like that hand is getting bitten while you are reaching back. And I mean, that's my thing where I'm like, sometimes you got to love them at a distance and then bring them up when they're ready. You know what I'm saying? Like in recovery, they tell us, I believe it. No, I was just adding to, I think, was I adding to? I was just saying, like sometimes, it's like I'm expounding. I like that.
Didn't nobody tell me I was saying it wrong. I kept saying expand. They was like, no, it's not expand, it's expound.
I say it's expand and expound, but that's semantics.
Well, you can expand the understanding.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, like they say all the time, like I say that sometimes when you can't reach back, right? Or they say that sometimes you can't reach back and be like, okay, pull yourself forward, because some people they're not ready to go across that bridge yet. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're outpacing, maybe we should, instead of saying outgrowing your friends, outpacing your friends. Sometimes you outpace where they are. You know what I'm saying? And
that was the whole point of the question. Is a lot of folks are kind of struggling with the phrasing and with
outgrowing friends. And
it's rightfully so, because I want you guys to really think about the story. All right, everybody has a story. So the way that you phrase this is really going to be indicative of how you're telling the story. So if you're saying I outgrew so and so, what are you really trying to say about that other person? And then about the relationship. All right, so that's why I was like, all right, well, what are some alternatives? You could say we grew apart, right? Because language is very important. How are you telling the story, not just your story? We had a relationship, we had history. So how are you going to tell the story? Because they're going to tell the story their own way, and I got to tell it my way. So do I say we were moving in different directions? Do I say that we were diverging from each other? Do I say that we were evolving? Do I say outpacing?
Moving
do I say
in different directions?
Graduating, transitioning, blossoming, expanding, transforming from a relationship. So I want us to just take note that we don't have to be limited to just outgrowing, but we do want to give respect to, we want to give caution to the language that we're using to describe what's happening in that relationship. Okay?
I agree.
So with that, I'm going to pose this next question right here. How do you know?
Conversation.
Man, I want to say that.
And your actions and their actions.
I don't point this out.
Oof. Uh-oh. Oof. He started doing hand signals.
So, I mean, I want to say this from my perspective again. My perspective. You can't run from self, right? There's things about self that if you can say in your friendship that you outgrowing, but did you take the time out to look at self and see if you outgrew the old version or the BS you did a couple of weeks ago? Did you take the time out to acknowledge that? Like, you really can't subject somebody to be up under certain rules, regulations that you don't even follow for yourself. Like, I mean, and this just for me, my perspective, I point at myself first and foremost. The old version of me, yeah, I did outgrow that version of me, but it's a lot of things that version of me taught me to become who I am right now. So I can't act like that relationship that I had with the old version of me no longer exists and serves me in purpose. That would be a lie. I have to refer to that from time to time to make sure I remind myself that I'm in alignment with what it is I'm trying to become. So therefore, I have to look back and remind, yeah, I did that before. I did that before because at this particular point, based off of my experience in my past, things that helped me grow, evolve, and become a better version of me, I'm able to pass this knowledge along to help heal the community, to bring them up to levels so we can all see on the same plane. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So let's not be quick to, I can't, hey, everybody's individuals, right? Everybody, each one of these fingers got a purpose, right? Until you close together, they are mighty fists. So I really can't write off. That's just me. I keep receipts on me.
You know what? And it does come back around. I don't know, up under one of the videos that we did, podcast that we did a couple of weeks ago, I had someone put on there, Renee, I need your help. And this was somebody I grew up with like this. Mm-hmm. And we had an hour-long conversation to see where she's at in life right now. It's like, oh, that's a beautiful thing. Because I know she's went through a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, and for her to even reach out and for us to be able to have that conversation and give that motivation to one another. So yeah, it comes back. It definitely does. What you just said right there, looking back, oh, it comes back.
Your relationships are a mirror. Mm-hmm. Your relationships are a direct. Yes.
Yeah.
They are
a reflection
of
who
mirror.
you are. Yeah. But don't forget that mirror is still you in the mirror. You still in the mirror.
That part.
You don't go nowhere. You're still you.
Oh,
and I like that.
Oh my God.
If I feel like I have to be that old version of myself with someone, then I have outgrown them. Yes.
That part.
Yes.
That's,
like I don't
thank you, Jessica.
That don't cancel out the friendship. I mean, that's that's peace. I love that comment. But that I feel like,
well, again, that's
you
why
could be on the other end of the person.
Let's answer it. Let's get.
Yeah, I feel like you could be the person that could be being outgrown. What about then? Do you look at them and be like, dang, so you're just gonna throw the friendship away because you feel like you outgrew me now? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's double-edged swords. You gotta, I don't know. If y'all friends, whatever they got y'all to the point to be friends, sometimes you gotta sit down and let's do an evaluation. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying move the goalposts, but you know what I'm saying? Let's look at some of these precursors that we have going on here. Like, why am I outgrowing you or you outgrowing me? Let's figure this out. Let's talk about it. But again, God level, things that people don't want to talk about. We ain't sitting down at the table having these conversations. We just writing people off like just, I'm good because I outgrew you and I'm better than you. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You started a college course before I did. You may have defined yourself.
That's why we asked the question. So let's get to it. How do you know? How do you know?
Can I put this out there?
I want to put some. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I had a conversation with an old friend. And I told the old friend, I said, you know what? I can't be friends with the old you. I like the new you.
I still agree.
Once you revert back to the old you, I gotta move over this way. Because I know the old you. The old you is And when the old you comes back, guess what I do? I moved away.
Here is the thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
I'm done.
Here is the thing. The thing is,
I'm messing my hair off show.
Once you have become, you're starting to go through these expansions, these 2.0s, these 3.0s. The question is if person stays in version 1.0, will they allow you to be person 3.0? And can you allow them to be person 1.0? And can you guys respect each other? Right? If that person tells you that, no, you've got to be who I need you to be. You need to be Renee 1.0 when we're hanging out because that's where I am. And then I'm telling my friend, no, you've got to be 3.0 when you hang out with me. No, the truth is that 1.0 has to be able to accept 3.0 in the same boundaries, conflicts. This is the reason if you have evolved in somebody and you can't conflict and have the realization that that person is there and they have their boundaries and you are here and you have your boundaries, that's when it's like, okay, we're going in different directions. Because conflicting, when you conflict with somebody, it is a way to get vulnerable, to be more intimate with that person, with that friendship. Can I respect you at 1.3 and can you respect me at 3.1? And if you can't, and if you can't accept my boundaries and I can't accept yours, that's it. That is the level of who have we outgrown them, or have they outgrown me?
I just want to remind everyone, I know we're using the word outgrown, but I want us to just remember we're just talking about a change. I don't want us to get caught up like, yo, there's so much we're kind of missing right now. We're 30 minutes in. We got
Oh shoot, I'm sorry.
All right,
Yeah,
so
And I want to answer your question.
Skywalker,
I just want to answer your question real quick. I just want to say it real quick. You say, how do you know when you outgrown someone? I want to say because my vision of what I assume our friendship is not that particular
anymore.
So I did an evaluation.
Yeah.
So I did an evaluation. I just want to answer that real quick.
So how do you deal with someone that constantly wants to talk about the past this, the past that, the past? And it's like that was 20 years ago. I'm not there anymore. I don't know these people. I don't deal with these people. You know, is that
you guide them? That's how you do it. God dang. Look.
What if they don't want to be guided?
Look. It's real simple. It's real simple. Let me ask you a question, love. Let me ask you a question. You know, for the past 3 weeks, no, not you. For the past 3 weeks, we've been talking about, a lot of memories. What's going on? What's going on with you? What's their motivation? How about you get concerned about why instead of, I don't like the fact that you're asking this question or that you're saying these things about the past. I don't like that. Ask the question. Ask the question. What's going on? You okay? I mean, there's a lot of nostalgia. I like a little bit of nostalgia, but
this is a lot. This is
what's going on? And just investigate, and they'll tell you, and then you can handle it from there, right?
Yeah.
How do you know when you've outgrown someone? This is a very important question because it tells you about the complexities of relationships. Lack of common interests. We don't share the same interests anymore. We don't share the same goals anymore. We don't share the same activities. I used to play the drums. I used to go out dancing. I don't have those same interests anymore. Different values and priorities. All right. Hey, my workload is this high. I'm a family man. I'm married.
Yep. And you're still single and mingling, going out every weekend. I can't.
I just became a foster parent, right?
Yeah.
So you're in, and then there's beliefs. Hey, I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting for Biden. Oh man, we can't talk no more. All right, if that's it, okay. I'm just saying these things happen. You became Christian. I became a Muslim. We changed denominations. We changed locations, right? Communication. That's a big one. Not, hey, we don't communicate anymore. We're always communicating. We're not effectively communicating anymore. Yo, we used to effectively understand each other. It used to be easy to talk to you. It used to be easy to be vulnerable with you. Yo, talking to you used to be effortless. I used to be able to just tell you what's on my mind and how I feel, and then we would just sort it out from there. Now I can't even do that. I can't even get a sentence out without feeling antagonized, without you feeling offended. Communication challenges, pessimism, or just always feeling drained when you're around them. Dang, every time I get around you, man, I used to fill up. I used to like, yo, who needed coffee when I had you? Now it's just like, God dang, man.
They used to feed the soul, but now you're walking on eggshells. That if you have to go into a relationship and you feel like you gotta walk on eggshells. I mean, and if Jessica put up a good one. Thank you.
There we go. So, when it feels one-sided.
And if it feels one-sided, but you guys haven't had a conversation about why it feels one-sided. Let me put this out here. Let's keep it a buck, man. In our community, we haven't necessarily been taught how to effectively communicate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, that comes from a lot of us from being us. I mean, think about it. Like when we get into a space, let's talk about everybody's been pulled over. Everybody. When you are black and you get pulled over, the stuff that goes through your mind, sometimes you can't effectively communicate because you have that fear behind it. You know what I'm saying? You can be like, my intent was da 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 da, Mr. Officer, but it might come out as something different because we have fear behind it. And if you have fear behind your communication, there is no way that any love is going to get in between any of that. You know what I'm saying? If all you are doing is operating from a place of fear, if you're communicating from a place of fear, there is no way. There's no, if you are afraid to be yourself, even how can you,
Okay.
even if somebody asks those questions, right, John? If somebody is afraid of who they are and they can't be honest with themselves and say what's really going on, then how are you really going to get to the end of that? Because you can ask the question and you can know why, but if they can't effectively communicate that, and if they're unwilling to be vulnerable and let on to why this is ineffective at this moment, then what are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Friendships take, man, relationships in general, they take work. They take being vulnerable. Go ahead.
And then two more things.
Ooh.
Oh, go ahead. No,
bro. I'm just what she just said. That last part, time, work. Yeah, go ahead.
Feeling restricted, or you're holding back a lot more than usual.
Yeah.
That part about not being true to yourself, you can't be your authentic self when you're around this person. If you can't be you around them, you know, there's a lot of questions that come up with that, right? Who were you the whole time?
Woo! Come on.
If I can't be myself around you anymore, that implies that at one point I could, no longer I can, right? So that's an indicator, right? And then there's the emotional distance. That happens a lot, right? So sometimes the emotional distance comes with physical distance. Oh, you know, we used to live here in the same area. We used to go to work, and then we would chill. And then after you and your family moved, we stopped talking. Hey, I don't feel those feelings anymore. It happens. But this is important in terms of just recognizing and listening to your intuition, right? Just because these symptoms come up, it's not a call to just, all right, I've outgrown them per se. But these are like your check engine light, your brake light that comes on. These are just indicators, and you just need to, it calls for attention, investigate.
Sneak dissing.
Okay. All right.
Sneak dissing. I don't like that shit. Like what? Because I will allow you to be yourself, and I'm gonna listen to you. But when you start sneak dissing, it's like, why do you got to do that? And then sometimes I might not call you out on it, but I'll note it. I'll mentally note that, like, she really said that. Yeah.
How do you, and why do people sneak this?
How do you even tell someone this without being rude? First things first, Mr. Trey Bean, I love you. No, that's my son. That's my son. I love you. I hope all is going well.
Love you.
Had a good Father's Day. I hope my grandbaby is doing well. Oh. Okay, I can't answer.
How can you tell somebody this without being rude? Let's go ahead and keep that a bean. Yeah. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
But like God never said, what if they feel like
it's starting to walk and shit? What is that? What do you mean,
baby? The baby is starting to walk. Yeah. Go ahead. You were about to say something, King Newborn. You were about to say something. I need you to say it. Bring that back. Rewind. Oh, did he get stuck? No. I think.
He did.
Okay, there you go. He's back.
Rewind.
Okay.
I mean, it's basically what God never said, that, you know, in the midst of trying to press onto someone, not knowing that the space is free and clear, it can seem like you.
Oh no, he got stuck.
And I'm over here seeing my seeing your son.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I'm just having
That
a
is
moment
beautiful.
right now.
It's all good, girl. We are here for your moment.
I
But no, how can okay, so
fucks with y'all.
we love you too, girl. Yeah, I wanna
Even my brother, who I tried to, let me tell you how much I love John, and John has a way of motivating me. I sent him a message Sunday to update him on my workout and what I've been doing, and I didn't lose any weight. And he said something to me, and it pissed me off. But before I could let it piss me off, I did let it piss me off. I had
Mm,
to ask myself, why am I pissed off? Because he said the
mm.
way he said it, it was the way he said it. But I know, John, he didn't do it intentionally. It was work harder. That's all it
Oh yeah, I
was.
said the math ain't mathing for
Yeah.
the results you want.
Ugh.
Man, listen, it's just straight logic, man. That was straight logic. Oh my god! But
but
you know
let's
what? So listen,
You know,
listen.
I'm
I'm
sensitive.
glad you put that in there, right? Because again,
yep.
this is about outgrowing friendships,
Yeah.
things like that, right? Conflict.
Yeah.
Can you handle conflict in your friendships, right? A lot of us
Ooh.
do not have conflict resolution skills, or
Yeah.
That part.
correction. A lot of us don't have effective conflict
There we
resolution
Conflict
go.
skills. So
resolution.
we have
Yeah.
conflict resolution skills, but it may not be skillful. We may be
Mhm.
lacking on the skill part. And so there is a large responsibility on each individual. It ain't just one, right? So this is why we say, all right, hey, if I have to dance around on glass and eggshells and I got to tiptoe around you, that's not conflict resolution. That's conflict avoidance. Okay. So you should be able to come to me as you have in the past and say, hey, man, this is bothering me. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say the dynamics are pretty different between men and women because
Yeah.
I probably had, I can probably count on my hand how many homeboys I've actually had beef with, where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, it's a problem. But most man to man relationships, respect is in the forefront. So something
Mhm.
like tiptoeing, because for us, it's about efficiency. Bro, just say what's on your mind, say what's on your heart. We're going to deal with it. Whereas with
Right.
women, men with women, we have to take we actually have to pull back a lot because in
Man.
our relationships we could just say it, right? So something like that, conflict resolution, like, I didn't like the way that you said that, John. Guys don't think about that generally. We don't be like, bro, why did you have to say it like that, bro? Like, we don't have those issues, right? So I think you really have to look at the dynamics of your relationship, right? And before you
Yep.
start, coming to the conclusion of outgrowing, as King was saying, you got to look at you, right?
Mhm.
Maybe I need to recognize that I've outgrown this part of myself because I have a relationship with myself and I have a relationship with you.
Right.
So maybe this part right here is too small for the relationship. I need to make an adjustment, right? My friend right here is saying, yo, it's getting harder to talk to you. That's feedback. I could take that personally, or I could take that with care and say, oh, you know what? This is them saying, hey, the check engine light is on. You might want to do some maintenance. It's not me downgrading you. It's not me downplaying you. This is not me denigrating you. This is me just saying, hey, we challenge each other. We keep each other sharp and on point, on toes, standing up, tall, posture. I need you to get
Every,
postured.
every conflict is not is it doesn't mean that you are a bad person. Every conflict is an opportunity to learn something from yourself. And if you actually look at conflict like, oh, maybe that's the problem. Maybe you should be able to tell me what's on your mind, man, woman, whatever. I'd rather hear shit straight up. But and Jess, you are not the norm.
I was my
I
Mm,
love you,
sister.
baby. You are not the norm because I know people who are like, tell me a pretty lie and tell me the ugly truth.
mm-hmm,
You see what I'm saying? And for me, at the place where I am now, is I want to grow. I have now realized that I have to grow if I'm going to live, right? So I have to be able to be open and honest and say,
mm,
this is where I show up. This is how I show up. That's the reason why conflicts in a relationship and conflicts in a friendship are a way that you grow. You learn something about yourself. How did I handle myself in this conflict? And a
mm-hmm.
lot of women, we don't put principles before personalities. We put personalities before principles. So the thing is that if we feel, oh wait, you punched me in my face with them words. No, I'm telling you because I love you, sis, and I want you to grow. But some people ain't ready to hear that.
But there's also a trust issue, right?
Thank you.
Trust
Mm,
issue.
You just said it.
I have to trust the information you're giving me. I have to trust that you actually are interested in my growth. I have to always keep that in the forefront of my mind. So
Mm,
what happens if, I'm not in the best space and I mistake your words or I mistake your approach because
Mm.
I'm in my feelings, but I didn't decipher that, right? But I caused the conflict. And my friend is trying to tell me, like, yo, you got your wires crossed. I still have to trust. I'm still supposed to be trusting you that you wouldn't tell me something that's a lie. You wouldn't tell me something that's off script.
My relationships did not get better until I learned that I didn't trust myself. And
ooh,
until I learned that I had to start trusting who I was and started trusting myself.
yeah.
And
Mm,
and I'm gonna tell you, trying to find a balance of that, especially for my brain, sometimes it can be hard. And if you are, yes, ma'am, because it's like, ADHD. We've been told 20 million thousand times that the way that we've done things are not correct. We've been told so many times that the way that we show up in the world was not right. So I had to trust that my brain was doing the right thing for me and that I had connection to divine creator enough that divine creator was going to tell me the way to go. Divine creator was like, I've got you. This is what you know. This is what you know about who you are, and who you are. You're not going to allow yourself to beat yourself up anymore. So I'm going to trust that what you're doing is the right thing in for you. And then once you realize that maybe you could have done something better, then do better. Right. So and in my relate and I've now learned how to trust myself. So if I can trust myself, then I can see and discern the messages that I'm getting from a friend. And I can know if my friend is got something because they want me to be Ivy 4.0, or do they want Ivy to be Ivy 1.0? You see what I'm
right.
saying? And
And
I can
sometimes,
respect you.
mm,
I can respect you for that, but let me be 3.0. Let me be where I am right now. Go ahead.
and sometimes you can get mixed messages from your friends or the person you're calling your friend. Sometimes that person can be encouraging, and then also that person can be sneak dissing. So, and then when you try to talk to them, it becomes hard because it's like this person feels like whatever they say is right and you're wrong. You can't continue on. Eventually, you're going to have to pull yourself out that situation and let it go. That's it. So yeah,
Guys,
and for me,
look, one for the guys.
when I bag up, I stop talking. I stop talking.
I've noticed that
I stop
I shut
talking.
down. I shut down too. Yeah, that's my thing. It's like
I literally stop talking, and I will just look at it like a dying bird down there flapping. Like, okay,
so.
sorry.
I have realized that I shut down too, but I've also realized that in order for me to grow, I have to push through that. So I have to push through that
Yeah.
uncomfortability, and sometimes I have to be the one to communicate, because they say that when you get healthy, whoever you are, whoever you are, your community gets healthy too. Because sometimes
Yeah.
your whatever it is that you're doing that's healthy is mirrored around you. You know what I'm saying? So and you have to also understand what you do in a conflict. And whatever is hard for you, the easy thing, don't do that. What is tough for you, what is hard for you, that's the stuff that you do in order to grow. So for me, I run away. So the hard thing for me to do is to actually to keep running towards that communication. I'm sorry. Go ahead, King.
Like
Go ahead, King. I'm gonna put myself on mute.
I'm gonna put me on the chop block. I'm gonna say it like this. I never was able to run from me for any problems that I was facing. So at some point, I had to stand still so I could really understand what was going on, and even listen to me chastise me, and even say, "Well, I ain't really trying to hear that. You're wrong." No, you might not like what I'm telling you, but you probably need to pay attention to it and see what it is that is causing said situation to keep coming about, because it's you that's a part of this nucleus. It's centered around you, and you again. Just like I'll tell John, hey, John, hey, if you feel the need that you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Hey, do what you do, because I'm not gonna look at you as I'm trying to convict more than I'm trying to convict myself, because I need to hold myself accountable, because I make sure this man holds me accountable. Why? Because he's in my circle. because I fucks with John. Excuse me, my language.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So if I ain't gonna criticize myself, chin check myself, I can't look at John and be like, "Yo, bro, did I wig a little bit? Was I out of line? Was it?" You like, we'll talk about that later. Okay, cool, peace. Because I already know we got to handle this later on because he ain't going to let me move forward without acknowledging it. So again, I'm putting me on the top block and say, for me to get to the individual I am right now, I had to stand still sometimes and say, hey, yo, you was on some bullshit. Flat out. And if any type of relationship you want to have in this world, you need to see it within yourself first and foremost. It ain't going to go no further than that. So you can do all the, in some cases, somebody, you can do all that social media, you know what I'm saying, fake flies, and I'm the best, you know, the damn value. You can do all that. You can do that. You can keep doing it. That don't even matter. Because at the end of the day, the person that you got to talk to first and foremost is self. You can't lie to you. You can't lie to you. You can't run from you. So, and this ain't no slight to nobody. I understand we all have our own mechanisms and triggers, and we're living in a survival mode. I get all that traumas. I get all of that. But to transition from being an adult to being grown, you got to check yourself flat out.
Mm-hmm.
What your list look like? What your value look like? What your work look like? And if your worth and your value ain't adding up, how the hell can you turn to anybody else and try to tell them?
Mm-hmm.
Never mind. I'll let y'all think about that.
All right. We don't do hypocrisy over here.
Go ahead, Renee. Go ahead.
I want to talk about the uncomfortable moment because I know what that feels like. My brother put me there. And I had to sit in it. This is, excuse me, brother, but this is the first time he checked the shit out of me, and I deserved it. I was at my sister's house. She was in the kitchen. We was on the phone, and I was in tears. And as bad as I wanted to hang up, I know I deserved what he was saying. And his exact words, and this is why we don't text. You gotta stop texting me like I'm one of these niggas that you out here dealing with. I'm your brother. And you know, and when I look at this man used to be in my father's sack. And I hate to put it like that. This is the closest thing to my dad, our dad. So I'm sitting there and I'm hearing him and I'm listening, and I got tears coming down my eyes because he's checking the shit out of me, and I needed that. And I sat in that uncomfortable moment and I ate that shit up. I didn't have no other choice. Either I was gonna be petty and hang up and say fuck the relationship. You know what I'm saying? But I loved him. And that was the respect that I had for him, even though I didn't realize that I was disrespecting him the way that I was moving. I'm so sorry. But we never had that problem again. Let's just say that.
It's love, man. It's love. It's love.
We never had that problem again. I don't text. I call.
Say to myself,
there you go.
Especially when it's something important, and we really want to make sure the lines of communication don't cross. So it's like, no, hold on, sis. So what you? Okay, cool. All right.
He made himself very clear.
We don't let that go.
No,
it was love. It was done with love. It was done with love. Like I said, I would never. You know what I'm saying?
It was
okay. Like this question right here. It says, "What closure and what are the goals? What its goals?" Like for me, the closure for me was to make sure my sister understood that I wasn't somebody on the outside, regardless of the fact we didn't grow up or not. I want her to understand that I'm here to support you no matter what's going on, even if you feel being wronged or you wronged me. Let's talk about it. I'm big on understanding. I gotta have understanding.
Yeah.
I don't care about nothing else. Right or wrong don't matter to me. If I can understand, I know why you did it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So we can move forward, and then also still at this level of that understanding, we're able to hold each other accountable. Period. We're able to hold each other accountable. That way you don't tarnish the relationship, and you can build on top of that. Now you can refer back to it. That's a reference point.
Understanding.
It really is.
Understand. But you know something, understanding. You know, I love the fact that you guys
really
talked
is.
about your relationship and how you guys have a trust in the fact that you were able to have really, really plain, clear, and honest, open conversation, and you were like, I'm gonna sit in this uncomfortability. So either way, somebody's feelings may be hurt, but it's up to the person to take the advice and grow. Or yes, at the end of the day, because the thing is that every conflict is meant to. It is meant for somebody to learn. Yes. It makes you stronger. Your relationships, if anybody is out there, they got a friendship, or they think about dating somebody, think about getting married, do not until you know how you show up in conflict and how that other person
shows up in conflict.
Yes, because if you don't have any resolution skills, if you don't have, if you do not have the ability to have insight into yourself and be like, yeah, that's probably, I'm probably on that shit right now. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that you can be in a friendship, relationship, nothing, because you can't look at another person's humanity if you can't see your own. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk to somebody else's humanity. You can't have grace for that other person if you don't have grace for you and your own human shit. And I'm saying, like, if you can check your shit and see your shit, you're only going to get hurt if you cannot see your own humanity and see that other person's humanity, which is the reason why 1.0 got to be able to see 3.0, because you're all human. Everybody is.
And that was Sunday, dealing with John. I'm not throwing you out. I'm not just trying to throw you out there, but that was Sunday. I had to eat that. I sat there for a minute, like, I'm pissed, but can I really be mad? This is John. He ain't telling me nothing wrong. The math ain't mathing. Nigga, you need to get out there and work harder.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. And I had to. And I stewed for a second. I was like, well, did I do something? I thought he was mad at me for a second.
But so this is part of the relationship dynamics that we have, right?
Right.
Do you know your friends? How well do you know your friends, right? So we were talking about, some of the reasons why we outgrow our friends, right? So emotional distance, right? So if it's been a while, you haven't updated your library on your friend. It's been 5 years, 10 years. It's been 8 weeks. It's been a couple of years, right? If you haven't updated your library and you see them moving in a way that's not really familiar to you, you're going to start, some of us we're going to start doubting, and then we'll question, but it's rooted in doubt, right? Yeah. So I say that to say that sometimes there's no need to really question the temperature of the relationship. You need to know what feedback you're looking for anyways. A lot of us are getting in these friendships, right? And they're just things, right? We're getting in these relationships. They're just things. They're tools, right? And rightfully so. Relationships are tools for creation, right? How do you know if you're a kind person except through your relationships with somebody else, right? You express your kindness, your compassion, your virtues through your relationships. These are vehicles for expression, right? But you need to be interested in the feedback. Right. So again, this is why I say between male to male relationships, I love my female relationships, I love them, but it's just more efficient, more stable when I'm talking to King or my homeboys. Hey,
principles, personalities.
It's not a competition. It's just I feel it.
And I get it.
Yeah.
But it's the feel, it's a texture. It's just like, okay, I know my homie. I know what I can say to him, and I know how to talk to him, and I know what, at least to some probability, I know the feedback that I'm going to get from him, and I'm going to use that feedback and I keep reinvesting, right? Some people don't have that concept of relationship. Right. And I know they're doing the same thing. They know when they're talking to John, they know what to expect. That's why you're talking to me like this and not like that. So you have to know your friends, right? In terms of, all right, I'm outgrowing. How well do you know your friend? Because you might be over or underestimating the temperature of the relationship. You might have it all wrong. And you need to ask yourself some questions before you ask them, right? Because if you come to, if you're John's friend and you come to me, y'all know how smart I am. Y'all know and how critical. If you come to me with the wrong questions, you gonna pay for that shit.
Listen.
Because you're my friend, you should know better. You're my friend. You're not.
Know
I'm
who you
not friends
talking
with
to,
them.
man.
You
Yeah,
talking to
No,
me,
yes,
so
yeah,
know your
yeah,
friends
yes,
before you
yes.
yeah,
Know who
start
you talking
making
to.
these evaluations.
yeah,
Know your
Yes,
friends. If
yes,
I bring this
yes.
up to them, am I coming correctly at my friend? Is this a
Facts,
respectful approach? Because you might be feeling
facts,
yourself too much. So there's the humility, right? Let me humble myself
facts.
down. Let me remember who I'm about to question and
Exactly,
interview and right.
exactly.
So I want to transition into closure because we got to start wrapping it up, right? So when we're talking about closure, and I brought this question up into uh, the discussion because typically this is what the resolution is in terms of peace in the aftermath of a significant loss or an event, a relationship. Usually we're seeking closure, right? And so this involves acceptance of what happened, understanding of what happened, but the goals tend to align with acceptance, healing,
yeah,
again, understanding, transcendence, or moving on, and then that emotional resolution, right? And of course, gaining understanding is, paramount, but getting that emotional resolution. I got all these feelings about this relationship. We have history. All that is substance, all that is content. And you got to figure out how you feel about all that and what are you going to do with all those feelings moving forward. Like you don't just have these feelings and then they just dissolve on their own. They right there waiting for you to say, all right, I'm putting this over in the vault. Okay, I'm gonna break this down and donate it. What are you gonna do with all that emotional content, right? And outgrowing doesn't necessarily mean, okay, hey, I'm not talking to you ever again. Maybe we're just going to change the dynamics of the relationship. Maybe we don't need to be as frequent when we communicate, right? So you could say, hey, we grew apart, but we're still connected, right? So that, again, this is where the emotional resolution comes in. This is where the understanding comes in. Shoot, you might even start reestablishing or reinventing some boundaries. You might adjust your boundaries and say, hey, we can still talk. I just only want to talk to you like maybe once a year on your birthday, my birthday, holidays. We still cool. The love is there. I just don't have enough bandwidth. That's closure. That's the closure. I don't have enough bandwidth for, or again, we're humble. Maybe you don't have enough time for me. Maybe you don't have enough space for me. I'm cool with it. Because you know what? I'm not your friend for my benefit only.
right.
I want you to be happy. I want you to thrive. I want you to win.
Exactly,
So if you ain't got the
exactly.
bandwidth, hey, you still got, man, I'm still gonna support you. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
all right, the dynamic, like you outgrew me. Like you got more priorities. So all right, hey, I'm gonna back off.
Just
Closure.
speak. Just speaking about closure from a recovery standpoint, right? The two goals of closure for people who are in that place of trying to heal is acceptance. For the people who are not necessarily in that heal space is control. What's the narrative? What's the narrative? How does everybody see? I need closure because how did they see me? How does everybody else see me? Is my mask still intact? For people who are accepting and who are healing, is this a place where I can accept that they are who they are and I can still love them for who they are? Can I still love me for who I am and how I show up in this, or how I showed up in this, for right or wrong, however either control or acceptance. That's my 2 cents.
I got a dope ass tribe. I ain't even trying to be funny. Y'all are fucking dope. Ivy, John, King Newborn, y'all are dope. I got a dope ass tribe.
We love you too,
If
Bubba.
I'm ever slipping, give it to me real, give it to me raw, give it to me uncut. I know I'm asking for it. I'm probably gonna be hurt when you say it, but once I get over my feelings, I ain't gonna have to but respect it.
Man,
It's love,
I love
love,
it. Thank you.
love,
the
love,
biggest place
Thank
that
you.
I've grown is from somebody digging in my ass and telling me the truth about myself, and I just had to sit in that.
Right.
Biggest places of growth. Biggest places of growth was actually conflict, and I had to sit in that.
And you be
Yeah.
having to sit there. I know what that uncomfortable feeling feels like. You're
And
sitting
people,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and people who actually love you will give you the funky ass truth instead of a pretty light, instead of a pretty lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Joanna
That's
Smith.
why
You said
at
great
times,
conversation tonight.
I ask, you want perspective, you look for a solution, or you just want out. Like, what's my purpose right now? You know what I'm saying? Like that's really important. But sometimes you got to be able to hear that within the conversation itself to know where it is that you being used. And it's okay to be used. Just don't miss you. I ain't got a problem with you. Just don't miss you. And closure for me, Miss Ivy Tanner, and to everybody else that's watching, flat out. If I don't got to understand, I don't got peace. I need to understand. However we're growing, I just need to understand. Once I be able to understand, I can put myself where I need to be, whether it is of access or not of access. But like Skywalker said, I'm always gonna support you. I'm always here for you. I'm always gonna look out for you. I'm always gonna give the best version of me to you because that's all I'm doing for myself. I can't fly up under the radar for myself. It don't work like that. I still gotta show up as me every day. So if I'm showing up for me every day, why I keep going to 10% and tell you that's all you get? I ain't bothered with you. No,
Bars.
understanding is very important. That's the only way I establish peace.
Bars.
I like this question right here.
Go first, because I was gonna say distance.
Ooh, distance. I'm confrontational. I want to stand in the midst of it. It ain't gonna go nowhere.
Once I figure out what it is for me, I fade to black.
And as John said, that's not conflict resolution, that's conflict avoidance.
It's conflict avoidance, yeah. I have everything I need. I've already went over everything. Yeah, this, that, and this. Okay, ain't no point.
Go ahead, King Newburn. Go ahead, King. You got it.
I'm gonna say.
We'll talk about it later.
I'm just saying, for me, I'm gonna say the best way for me to navigate is to stand 10 toes down to whatever it is. I gotta confront it. Gotta be confrontational. If my feelings get hurt, my feelings get hurt. But I'm here for understanding. So if I'm allowing myself a little space to have grace with a relationship with myself, I gotta do the same thing for you. And you might tell me about me. Now I gotta go back to the drawing board. I gotta sit down and trust with me. And I gotta, you know what? They got a point. That is part of me. Part of me. And that part of me hurt them or rubbed them the wrong way. So I gotta look at that. Go ahead.
What do you do when the desire is not even there?
Like, you understand it. That's your understanding.
That's my understanding. The desire is not even there.
That's your part, though, right?
That's my part. Yeah.
Okay, so listen, again, if you're having a conversation with them, right? If you guys are real and authentic, for example, if it was me and King and we ain't been talking in weeks and we've been talking and I done made a few attempts, I'm calling you and I'm asking some damn questions. Now, this is why I say between men, we different. If we want to know something, we calling you and hey bro, what's going on with this? We're gonna investigate. We don't do none of this. Oh, okay. Presumption. No, I want to know. I want to hear it from you. I don't want to guess. That's why I say with men, we don't like guessing. Either I know it or I don't. If I don't know it, I need to find out, right? So if you ghosted me,
what you say, John? You made a post today, so I guess you good.
What? We don't do that. So listen.
No, sir.
Listen. It's just, if you want to know, if you know your friend, you have permission to ask. Now, they're not obligated to tell you, but there's consequences. And that's why I say with men, there's cause and effect. It ain't about what you're saying. We watching what you're doing. We watch it. And we're all looking now, okay? So in that, there's a certain level of respect. You ain't going to cross that boundary. Like if I come to him and I come to him incorrectly, he's gonna check me. I know that. I know if I hit my boy Andre up and I come at him, he gonna check. Hey, bro, hold up. Listen, partner, you don't get to ask those kind of questions to me. And we don't argue like that. So we just gonna get our point across. And then, hey, whatever's left is all right, cool. You know what? We'll leave that there. That's it.
Yeah, so how the family?
Ivy, we gonna try to be more like men.
Listen, it's not even so much as be more like men. It's about coming into balance. Listen, for ladies, the strategy for ladies, right? What can help navigate outgrowing relationships gracefully? I think is being honest with ourselves as well as being honest with our friends, right? Okay. Being able to take a look at my friend, and because let's go ahead and keep this a buck, man. A lot of times, especially ladies, if we mad, we love giving the silent treatment. We love being you know what I'm saying? We'd be like, I ain't talking to him. I ain't giving him no booty. I like that in a relationship or something of that sort, right? But the thing is that what we don't understand is not only does that hurt the relationship and it hurts the trust and everything else, but it hurts them. It hurts us. It hurts everything around it, right? So let's get uncomfortable.
Is yours.
Yes, come on, man. But the thing
being vengeful. Why are you being vengeful in a loving relationship? Why are you being vengeful?
It's the way that we were taught. Let's go ahead and
that's a topic.
It's the way that we were taught from the time. You know that if your auntie was fighting with your mama or her other sister, she was like, I ain't talking to that heifer. She ain't gave me back my crock pot. What? Just go over and ask her why she ain't gave you your crock pot. But the thing is that
she knows she got it.
About that. Exactly. No, we're not mind readers. We are not. Nobody is a fucking mind reader. Say what you gotta say, man, and say it with your chest, because the people who are really there for you, they gonna be there for you afterwards.
There you go.
Ladies, sit in your shit, sit in your truth, and be honest with yourself, so you can be honest with your friends and the people around you who are supposed to love you, man. Come on, bro.
That's next week's topic. It sounds like it. Give us the title right now, Mr. C Player.
Did I say it right? Come on.
Give us the title right now.
That's CP. That's my brother, man. That's my brother, man. Shout out to CP. And he's a perfect example. Like, it don't matter. I could not talk to him for like 5 years. We pick up the phone, talk to each other, see each other.
And still pick up.
It's like no time has elapsed at all. Shit, I know him. I know him to his core.
Yes.
He know me to real talk. Real talk. And me and that man, we started that shit in high school. And we still tight to this day. Man, you know what I'm saying? We still tight to this day. I would do anything for that man. That brother can call
no second guessing, right? You don't even think like, man, does this nigga still fuck with me? We don't be thinking, we don't be having
they came to my mind.
Yeah, like if we want to know, let me call him up. What? If I need to know, hey, yo, I'm just tapping in with you, brother. You know, I know it's been a couple of years. You good, King? Like, yeah, man. You know,
I'm straight. So with you? Cool.
Oh,
so he. Now I got my answer. He still fucking.
How can you have vengeance in a loving relationship?
That part.
You want to?
It's not
love. That part.
If it's vengeance,
it's
not.
We can talk about it.
It's not love.
So it wasn't real in the beginning, then.
Exactly. Exactly.
People got stuff confused between chemicals and what love really, really is. If you loving somebody, man, you really want the best for that person.
You do.
Listen, I'm one of them. I thought that I knew what love was.
Man, I love CP. I love John.
I love every person in this box, including, you see, I said every person in each one of these boxes. That's including me.
There you go.
It starts there. You're only vengeful when you expected for a person to give you something that you didn't know, that they didn't know. That they were man, let's stop. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna put myself on mute. Let me be quiet.
That's a good topic.
Okay.
I got several. How to host a safe space for truth. What boundaries really are. What motivates us to people please.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it backstage.
All right. So are we closing now?
So we doing the close part?
Yeah.
It's been beautiful.
I want to thank everybody for jumping in on tonight's live.
I'm talking about what John said. We doing that? We doing that, John? Are we good? We cool?
Can y'all do it in like 20 seconds? we way past our time.
Oh,
Already
we
getting
really
like
are
that.
way past our time. Thank you for
Yeah.
jumping in on tonight's live. Thank you to everybody who dropped in the comment. Call in. The phone lines is always open. We would love to hear your voice. And again, we will see you all back here next week. John, you got me?
Salute, y'all.
Peace.